Hari Om. Hari Om. Hello, my friends. Often I have talked about actually all our work, all our spiritual journey, all that we are driving at is not something to achieve. It's not something that is absent now and we have to work and then finally we reach that. What we are looking for is here, is now, is that which makes everything possible. That which makes the experience possible, because of which we can think, because of which we can feel, because of which we can have sensations. So then our sadhana is not a journey of achievement, but a journey of becoming aware what is there that stands in the way of our natural state, and then let go. Get rid of all the unnecessary ballast, all that we are carrying along that we don't need, that makes us feel separate, unnatural. And we have to become back aware. We have to become aware what we are looking for is already here. It's not necessary to achieve it, but it's necessary to become aware how much we are caught up in our mental stuff, all the programs, all the belief systems, everything that we have been holding on to and used to define ourselves. We have to detach from all that and become aware there is something that is always peaceful, always joyous. It has never been absent. It simply is there. Now Mariano asks me, what do you think about sincere psychotherapy along with spiritual practice in order to get rid of the vasanas? If somebody feels like doing so, then you can go for therapy. After all, in therapy also, the purpose is that you become aware of stuff that there is in the subconscious that creates problems, and then learn to see it and learn to get rid of it. Of course, Mariano, it depends also very much the therapist, because therapists can also put stuff in your head if they are not very sensitive and not very skilled. There is one microphone open that is slightly disturbing. Galaxy S22 5G. Can you please turn your microphone off? Thank you. The tendency with some therapies is that one goes on looking for more dirt, looking for more dirt, looking for more dirt, and there it's a jungle. You can get completely lost in it and go on and on and on forever. Basically, we don't need to go for therapy, but if somebody likes to do so, nothing wrong. You can also just be here and be at peace, not go looking for the dirt to dig out. Just be here now and be at peace, and then all those things that disturb, they come all by themselves. We just have to be alert and see as it pops up, and then learn to deal with them in such a way that we are not strengthening the old patterns, but that we are learning to detach and let them go. And if therapy helps, nothing wrong. Simply be careful not to get too fascinated and then get so much interested in therapy to look for something more and look for something more and for something more, and thereby a bit missing the main purpose. But you asked whether you can do it in combination with practice. Keep on your practice. And if you feel like doing therapy to help to bring to light certain things in the subconscious that disturb, you can do so. If it helps, great. If you feel it's not very useful, then you can also stop it again. We don't have to go looking for all those things. That which is really troubling us, it comes all by itself. What we need is that we are clear enough, alert enough, that we see what's going on. And that is something we have to learn. It should be natural, but we have to learn it new because we have learned to just always push that away and not give any attention to what's going on in our own psyche. That alertness we are getting by regular practice, by reminding ourselves to bring the attention back to the source, to the essence, to stay with that peacefulness as good as we can. And in that, those mechanisms that really need to be worked on, they will be seen. They come and create troubles, and when we see them, we can learn to see how they are functioning, observe them and detach from them, and then they are weakening and finally they go. Vedanta tells us you are Brahman. So then what should there be sadhana for? And the Vedantic term is Antakarana Shuddhi. That means cleaning the inner organs. The inner organs is not meant the physical organs, but the psychological organs. The mind, the intellect, all that has to do with our thoughts, with our emotions, with our feelings. Antakarana Shuddhi. To see what's going on in the psyche and learn to let go, learn to clean it out, and then you become aware that pure essence, that Brahman is already there. You are that always. It's not that now we are not that. So Mariano, do as you feel like. It's not a must to go for psychotherapy. If you know somebody whom you trust and you feel like going and doing for some time psychotherapy, you can very well do. Just continue your practice and don't forget what it is all about. And then it's fine. Okay, I leave the subject with that. And I'm asking you who are present here, is there anybody who would like to say something? You are welcome to come in.
Hello.
Hello, Leila.
There are two topics I would like you to reflect on. So I will tell you and then you can decide, or the two of them. One of them is something that somebody wrote, friend, a Facebook friend. Wisdom is healed pain.
Wisdom is?
Wisdom is healed pain.
Uh-huh.
And I love it. The other one is, I would like you to reflect about the essence of intimacy.
The essence of intimacy.
Yeah, so either you talk about the two of them or one of them. Up to
Yes.
you. Both of them are very interesting for me anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Let's get to the first one. Wisdom is healed pain. Wisdom is more than that. But if pain is really healed, that means if we have seen the pain, if we have seen how we have created the pain and learn not to do so, certainly that is wisdom. Wisdom is the capacity that we are not filling up our heads with all our belief systems, all that we have learned all the time, but that we have that capacity to connect with that pool of beingness, of wisdom, of knowledge that is always there. And often pain stands in the way, often on different levels. If there is pain, then we are focusing on that and stands in the way. So when we heal that pain, then we are opening up that capacity to connect, that inner beauty and clarity can come to the surface and can express itself. So yes, I can agree. I would say it's more than that, but definitely healed pain is wisdom also.
What you healed pain is wisdom also? What do you mean also?
It's also wisdom. It's part of wisdom. Yeah. There is, it's not necessarily to be healing pain all the time, to be capable of accessing that pool of wisdom in you.
Can you repeat the last sentence?
It's not necessary to always be busy healing pain in order to access that pool of wisdom. That that wisdom, that pool of knowledge is always there. And if we are capable of just relaxing into that, then you have access and it can express itself in our thoughts, in our feelings, in our actions, in our reactions, how we talk, how we are with people. But the obstacle to that is often the pain that we are creating. The pain that we are holding in our psyche is mainly self-induced. The external circumstances bring something about, but then it's we that are holding on to, and that is preventing us from having that clarity and that peacefulness that is necessary for wisdom. And so the healing of that pain is opening up the way to wisdom. Yes, I agree.
So, would you say that actually all people are born with wisdom, or wisdom is available for them, for us?
Yes, it is there.
And yeah, okay.
It's not something that is absent and we have to learn. It's there. But we have to learn to consciously connect with it.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I didn't think that way before. I wasn't aware, because they tend to say a wise man or a wise woman, but actually we are all wise. It's only
Yes.
that
Mm.
there are blocks or
Yes.
pains or whatever. Yeah.
Wisdom doesn't mean to be extremely knowledgeable, to have read lots and lots of books and to know many philosophies. Wisdom is that capacity at every moment to connect with that knowledge that is just necessary for that moment. And that
Yeah,
knowledge
yeah, yeah.
and that knowledge is there with us all the time. If we don't
Yeah,
disturb
okay.
it, then we need not worry about knowledge, because whatever little knowledge we need from moment to moment to function sanely and with wisdom, it is there somehow.
Beautiful. Thank you.
So, and then you want the essence of intimacy. Actually,
Yeah.
can you explain that a bit more? You mean the intimacy of the loverly relationship, or you mean any
No,
intimacy?
no, intimacy as a quality, um, or there's another word, I'm not sure, but like intimacy as again, something that is there all the time. Actually, it can be intimacy between me and the tree, for instance, or intimacy between me and nature. Then it's not the love. It is the love, but not the same as love between a man and a woman, or a man and a man, etc. It's a quality that I have been sensing, that something allows it to show, or something allows me to feel it, to be aware of this intimacy. It's a sort of I don't know what, it's a sort of energy or characteristic. I don't know what it is actually. Intimacy. I can't.
Well,
It's situations when I can't control it. I can be in intimacy with fear
yeah.
or pain.
Well, the way you are describing it now, intimacy, means that you're that awareness of being always connected. It that connection is always there. Simply, as long as we are totally absorbed in our story and in that personality that we are thinking that we are, then we are losing that awareness that all is connected. The essence of that intimacy is that awareness that there is no separation. Nobody is separate. All is connected. You may not always be totally, even if you are aware that everything is connected, you may not be totally aware what is happening all around you, your body, in all the humans, in all the animals, in all the insects, in all the plants, but that awareness of not being separate creates that, what you call that intimacy, that feeling of that energy. that feeling of being alive, especially alive. When you feel separate and really like cut off from life, then when it doesn't feel alive. But when you feel that there is that connection, it's all the same life that is flowing through everything, then you do experience life in a much more intense way. And that is the essence of that intimacy, that awareness, that all is connected, that there is no separation.
Yeah. So that is also connected with this absolute compassion, actually.
Mm.
Compassion that is not dependent on actually on anything.
Yes, the compassion is not like this feeling of pity.
You know,
Compassion, right? Compassion
yeah,
is that awareness that we are connected, and if there in a being manifests there is pain, there is suffering, then you see that awareness that all is connected is absent, but you still keep that awareness that all is connected. And with connecting then with that suffering being, but keeping the awareness of being connected, something very helpful, very beautiful flows through that being, and that is the compassion.
yeah.
And,
Okay.
and of course, the lovers, they are looking for that awareness of not being separate. They achieving that awareness more or less according to how their mindset is, but most of the people get a little bit an inkling of that awareness that one is connected when they are in love, and when that intimacy is there of the lovers, that that feeling of merging. It never really works that way, but still it it gives some inkling, some opening in that direction, at least for some time. But what is really bringing that joy is that for some time that awareness is there, that the connection actually is there. It's never absent. Then we cover it up again with the mind and all our wants and needs and
And desires and passions and stuff.
yeah,
So
right. But
yeah.
what makes that intimacy so attractive between lovers is that they're getting a bit closer to that awareness that actually that connection is there, that we are all one.
Yeah.
Okay, shall we
Right.
leave it?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Werner. That, yeah, beautiful.
I'll see, somebody wrote a question. Yes, somebody asks, they are feeling, their feeling of happiness is so much dependent on the circumstances, what is happening, and that's actually the state of most of the people in the world, that we are identifying with that personality, and that personality is only a reflection, it's only a shadow of what you are. It's not what you are. You are prior to that. You are complete in yourself. But then with that identification, with the personality, come all the limitations. The limitations that our experience is tied to a body and has to suffer all the limitations. And if the circumstances are nice, we can relax and feel happy. If the circumstances are not to our liking, then we feel stressed and in tension and want to change it and suffer. Observe when you live, when you have a desire. And along with that desire comes that feeling, I need this, I want this in order to feel happy. And then when the desire is fulfilled, then you feel happy. But if you observe, look what is really going on. When we struggle with something, to get something, to put circumstances right, then the tendency is there that we are building up a tension, that we are not at ease, at peace, but restless of getting there, of getting the desire fulfilled. When the desire is being fulfilled, then for a moment, one lets go. Without thinking. It's just for a moment, then the mental craving is fulfilled and we let go. And for some time, that nagging voice is not there, that nagging voice that always telling us it should be like this, it should be like that, it should not be like this, it should not be like that. For a moment, it's silent. And in that letting go, in that detachment, relaxation of that moment, that natural joyousness that is there has a chance to come to the surface. After that, in the mind, we think, oh, I was happy because of this, because of that, because of what this person said, because of what happened there, I was happy. But actually, the happiness didn't act, strictly speaking, coming from those circumstances, from the thing that we have received, from the whatever we have eaten that was pleasant, from the nice words that somebody said to us. That happiness came out of ourselves, because for some time we were not in resistance or less in resistance with the circumstances. You are the source of your own happiness. You are the source of your fulfillment. It's just a habit of thinking, I need so many things in order to be happy, in order to feel fulfilled, that drives us on and on, struggling, struggling, struggling. Momentarily, it seems, it worked. One feels happy, but whatever, whatever is there, it becomes commonplace, and that nagging starts again. But this should be different, that should be different. We have to learn to have a good look what is happening when we are enjoying things, when we are in circumstances that we really like, that actually there, without having had the idea about it, there we let go. We relax. We don't torture our mind thinking, I need this, I need that in order to be happy. For a moment, there is just that natural silence, that natural being relaxed, and in that natural relaxing, that inner joyousness has a chance, bloop, 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 bubble up to the surface. If you watch alertly what's going on in your life, if you watch how you are creating tensions by having ideas how the thing should be and being not happy when they are not so, then when you watch that, you see that I'm making myself unhappy. It's not really the circumstances that that are making me unhappy. I do that to myself by always resisting against the fact of the situation that is being experienced. And on the other hand, when the circumstances are according to our likings, to our ideas, how we are capable of just letting go and relaxing without an effort, without thinking of doing so, simply because we stop troubling ourselves. And in that detachment, in that relaxation, in that letting go, at least to some extent, we become aware of that inner joyousness. It has never been absent. That's what we have to learn, to understand and then to experience. That joyousness is not absent, it's part of the essence, it's part of your beingness. It's not that we have to create it, produce it in any way. But the more you become aware of that, the less those ideas, how things should be, will be troublesome. You still can have your preferences. There is absolutely nothing wrong. You can like certain circumstances better than others. You can like certain music better than others. You can like certain food better than others. You can like certain people more than other people. As long as we are not getting attached and obsessed with that, there is nothing wrong with it. Then we go about it playfully, adjusting our circumstances if we can and leave them if we cannot. The problem starts when we make our happiness, our sense of well-being dependent on that. If we start to believe that I can be happy only if things are according to my agenda, how I think it should be and how I like them to be, then of course we are always vulnerable to all these attacks because circumstances change all the time and our input in a situation is only one aspect of many inputs to create a situation. Just have a good look at yourself. Observe how your unhappiness comes and goes, how your happiness comes and goes, and more you will see you are doing that to yourself. Because if we don't stand in the way, if we simply naturally relax, then we become aware that happiness we were looking for is there, never absent. It's a pool of happiness, the same pool that I called before when we were talking with Leora, the pool of wisdom is also the pool of happiness and fulfillment. All we have to learn is to become aware. It's always available. We can always connect. We can always dive in it. And the more you are becoming aware that you yourself are the source of your happiness, that you yourself are the source of your sense of fulfillment, then the freer you are of the circumstances and of the old habits that make us being restless and driven and running and running and running and trying to get that happiness, trying to catch it somewhere from something instead of being aware. All I have to do is to open up to that, to really relax on all the levels, to really let go, to detach from all our mental machinations, from all that stuff that goes on that creates always the tensions and contradictions. Let them go and be and relax. And that sense of fulfillment is there, it's present. Okay, I leave the subject And I'm asking you, is there anyone who would like to come in? You're welcome to do so. You're welcome. You're living in a dream-like existence. That which you really are is not even now, not really incarnated. You, in your essence, your being is timeless, spaceless. From that timelessness, that being is projecting in a dream-like existence like this, the human existence. It's just a projection, an aspect of that being is manifesting as a human. And that sense of being alive, of me, of I, is just a reflection of that life that you really are. And somehow, somewhere, something has happened that everybody forgets that. That with the birth, except a few rare exceptions, everybody forgets their divine nature, their divine origin. But the more we are then getting attached to the story that is there, to the role that we are playing, the more we feel the heavy burden of all the limitations that come along with it. It need not be like this. That being that you are is free, timeless, spaceless. It was there before that human manifestation, it's during that human manifestation there, and when that human manifestation is finished, that is still there. Now, why should a being project then in a dream like this? Simply to gain experience, to make that awareness of the one essence more profound. The essence doesn't change, but the experience that we are having of that essence keeps on unfolding and unfolding. It's getting richer. Whatever words I'm using, they are inadequate. So I'm saying the experience getting richer, it's getting more expansive. Essentially the same, the experience is unfolding continuously. So that being plays such leelas of projecting into this world, in other worlds, getting richer for the experience. Now, this need not be a painful process. The painfulness comes only that that aspect that is projected forgets the origin, identifies with the manifestation, with the appearance, and invariably that is terribly limited. And consciousness naturally wants to be expansive. And if we force consciousness in that little bubble of me, I, a personality, it's always painful. And there we can go round and round and round and round the whole lifetime long. It's always painful. Still, that being that you are is still getting enriched from that experience. But for the one aspect that is manifest, it's a painful business, it's a slow business. And it need not be like this. We can consciously catch the attention wherever it is, caught up in that me identification, and turn the attention back to the source. And that source is divine. That source is timeless. It's here, it's now, not a point in time, not a point in space. This is the point in time, the only point where we are touching reality now. But that now moment in time is fleeting, it's zoom, it's already gone, it's always already past. But if we bring the attention back to that sense of presence, that is prior to the experience, that is prior to all the ideas I have about myself, all the story that we are remembering and holding on to, just coming back to that sense of presence, there we are touching reality. We are touching that essential being that is prior to that time-space story, that is even now not caught up in the time-space story, but ever free. And we have access from that perspective of being a person, of being separate. We just have to bring the attention back somehow in one way or another to the essence, to that which makes that experience possible, to that which is really alive. Whether we are doing that with inquiry or with breathing or with devotion, with any combination, whatever we invent to help us to come back home and connect, that can help us to get free of that identification, and then we can see we can go playfully through such a dreamlike existence, a human manifestation, being aware that it is not as real as it appears. It's momentary, it's just there for the sake of getting richer for the experience. When that awareness is there, then we stop suffering. We can go playfully along from day to day, playing our role, being aware. It's just there momentary and getting richer for the experience. I can always connect with that joyousness, which is an aspect of my essence. And then even experiencing the human story, going through it from day to day, one can go about it joyously, happily. Circumstances often are not nice. So many bad things may happen in the world. It doesn't change the fact that you are prior to that. It doesn't change the fact that you have all that joyousness in yourself. You don't need to seek it anywhere. Then that illusion of being separate, of being limited in such a way, starts to evaporate. And with that, all the bondage that we have imagined. Finally, we become aware there never was bondage, so there is no need for a liberation. But as long as that sense is there that we are bound, that there is bondage, then that struggling is for liberation. Liberation simply means to let go the illusion that binds us, that seems to bind us. Come back home. And the story may still go on, the manifestation may still be there. The I feeling in the manifestation still comes where it is necessary, can manifest a certain personality, but then that personality is like a role we are playing on stage, like an actor that plays a role knowing I'm not that role, but still can play the role in the theater, can play the role good, but not getting fooled that I am that role. Just play that role, then the curtain drops, and the play is over, but still I am. I am what I am. But I have been prior to this theater, prior to this dreamlike existence. I am now not that role I'm playing in the dream. And when the dream is over, when the play on the stage is over and the curtain falls, I am still. Okay, my friends, I'm asking you again. Is anyone who would like to come in? You're welcome to do so. Hello, Vikas.
Hello, Werner. Hari Om.
Hariom.
Werner, my question is, how do we improve our meditation? And how do we know that it is improving? Like when I do my chanting, sometimes I see a white light. It stays with me for some time, but then it vanishes.
Yes,
Then sometimes I don't see it.
yes.
So, so if you can tell me how it can stay with me and how do we improve this thing?
When that white light comes, it's not that you are doing it. You're you're just doing your practice, and then that white light appears, and then sometimes it disappears. So since it's not your doing, you can also not do anything to hold it. And you should also not worry. It's nice as an encouragement if that is happening, but you should also not worry when that white light is not appearing. How do we improve our meditation? By sincerely keep on practicing. by, by sincerely going about it every day if possible. But it's better to do it without much expectations. And if you have experiences, then it's nice. You can enjoy them. You can get encouraged by them, but don't think they are necessarily a touchstone of your improving practice. Some people practice a little and immediately they have all kinds of experiences. Some people, they have practice on and on and on, and they may not have any of those experiences, but what happens to them, and they may not even be aware of, that generally there is just more and more a sense of calm, a natural sense of being at ease, but it may uh, increase so slowly that people are not quite aware, and they may have the idea that they practice and nothing is happening, but actually something is happening all the time. So nothing wrong if if you have such experiences like the appearance of the white light, but it's not that you have to run after the white light and try to hold it. Just do your practice, be here, be now, conscious, connected as good as you can, and relax. And then experiences are coming, they stay for some time, they are going. You still have the benefit of being inspired when those experiences are there. But the real touchstone is not so easily detectable for people who are in the midst of it, because it comes so gently, so subtly, that really a general sense of peace is there. People sometimes may suddenly recognize, hey, some time ago in this particular situation, I would have reacted much. more violently, much stronger. So then they become aware, something seems to happen without me being aware of. There is not really any progress in self-realization. You are that all the time. From the beginning, you are that now, you will be that. We cannot really talk of progress, but if there is a general sense of not worrying so much, being more at ease, being more at peace, being more capable of dealing with tense situation without exploding, without also going on the same level that others are going, being less violent about the whole thing. These are clear indications that we are going in the good direction. And if on top of that nice experiences are appearing, then you can just accept them. Thank you very much for that grace, but don't make them too important and think the more I see lights or the more this is happening, the more I can count that this is progress, not necessarily.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om. So just when Vikas came in, Andreas also came in. There you are again. Hello, Andreas.
Hello. Could you say that so the hallmark of progress is a growing sense of equanimity?
I mean, it's certainly a clear indication that you are going in the good direction, yes.
Yeah, like Vikas just said, I always try to evaluate my practice.
Yes, right. We have talked about that before. Then you have a good meditation and then immediately the mind comes in and starts to compare with previous and wonder in all the hierarchy of the development of the experience that you have learned where you can fit it in. Huh?
That's not so much what I'm doing, but I'm all it's very deeply ingrained in me to evaluate it or to check if I'm doing the right thing or so. And this is getting a little bit better.
Yeah, that's also a good thing.
Does it also mean to drop your personal will so much that you doing it and you try to get somewhere?
It's a bit tricky, that thing, because it's not that you have to become like a stone or a mule that can just be driven. By all means, manifest your own creativity. And then if ideas come, how to go about it and how to, in what direction to go, and it feels, it comes from the heart and it resonates, then by all means go for it. But we can let go more and more of that me, I'm doing this, me, I want to do this. And for that, many people try not to be the doer, which is of course a concept on the same level that I am the doer. If it helps to neutralize that idea, that obsession, that me, I'm doing, to somehow try to consciously be not the doer and let things just happen, take their course, then it's a good exercise. But basically, you are prior to being the doer or not the doer, but consciousness manifests also to be creative. So if that urge comes to manifest something and you feel it comes from your essence, it comes from your heart, then you need not like to stop it and say, no, I'm not a doer, I'm not going to do anything. But the trouble always comes in when I, as a person, get obsessed about it and very restless about being successful, very restless of achieving it quickly, very restless about whether it's being recognized by the people, whether I'm getting the proper feedback from the people. All those things we can let go.
Yeah, I'm trying more to just let everything be the way it is when I'm meditating.
Yes.
But this is very hard to get it into my daily life.
Yeah. Still, it's getting easier when you sit down and do your meditation. At least what you can do is in your daily life to remember and to bring that memory to the present moment wherever you are, whatever you are doing, with whatever people you are, and somehow connect with that and let go as good as you can. And the more you practice, the more it will happen. In between, that suddenly you become aware now, in spite of being active, there is that calm there. There is that connection there. And my actions become more just an expression of that inner silence, of that inner beauty. And then the mind comes in again and plays crazy and you forget about it, but then there you remind yourself again when you remember, okay, come back home and relax in that. That's the way how to go about it.
Yeah, but that's so rare, and most of the times I'm so much identified.
But at least you say there are moments when you are not, so you know that it's possible. Then you just open your heart and invite that possibility to manifest as good as it's possible, as good as it can. And if you keep going, it also will get easier over time.
But I feel that I'm always still identified. It's very rare that or I don't know if I'm at all, sometimes not identified with like my personality.
Then as a step, just when you become aware how much that identification is there, just shift to observing instead of doing. Not create the new personality that is observing the old personality, but become aware that there is the observing going on anyhow all the time, and tune into that. And if you are in that observing position, then that fixation, that strength of identification starts to slowly let go and evaporate.
Okay.
Okay. Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Is there anybody else who would like to come in? I don't know whether you can hear it. There have been very loud voices. Now it's calming down again a bit. A lot of fighting is going on. There's a lot of that mood being pushed by a certain force that tries to gain more and more control. Has been in control, but tries to get more and more control right now. Pushing people into negative states of mind. And then if people are identified with that, it manifests a lot through fighting, to bickering, being aggressive about nothing. And it's rampant going on. If one looks around and can see how people are always ready to be aggressive, even people who were more peaceful. The remedy for that is to be aware that this is happening. The remedy for that is to the same that I'm always talking about, to have a good look at ourselves. And then the more we are alert, the earlier we can catch a tendency that starts to push us in a certain direction. And if we see this is pushing me into a destructive space that creates only trouble for myself and for those around, then we can take a step back. And in spite of all that pressure that is there, learn to relax. And then that pressure just goes through. We're becoming more and more transparent. And then in spite of that intensity, that difficulty of the present situation that is there all over the world, we can connect with that pool of silence, that pool of wisdom, that pool of joyousness, that essential being, that essential beingness. And if we are capable to do so, in spite of a lot of agitation around, then there we are collecting a great strength that makes it more and more easy to connect consciously for that manifestation where it has happened first, but also it's radiating to all the others and people around. Also, they will benefit from that, get inspired by that. Also, will start to open up and try to a bit function a bit more in that direction. The potential is there in us, in everybody. We just have to recognize that it is there and then have the sincerity to consciously look in that direction. And if we find ourselves looking in the opposite directions out of old habit, then not make a big fuss, not make a big story out of it, just simply turn the attention around and come back home as good as we can. And if we deal with the world, with the circumstances in such a way, then even if there is an increased pressure that is pushing people into negativity, into destruction, destructive ways of acting, in spite of all that, we can remain at ease, at peace, radiating harmony instead of hatred, radiating peace instead of aggression. That potential is there in all of us. So when we look out, when we see there is a lot of destructive stuff going on, there's a lot of aggression in people. Let's not worry about it and think, oh, it's terrible, it's terrible, it's terrible. But in spite of all that, I can come home and be what I am, and then radiate it in this dream-like existence. And that helps to turn the dream in a more harmonious, beautiful, joyous, expansive story. I'm asking again, is there anyone who would like to come and say something? You're welcome.
Hello.
Hello, Anita.
Do you think that this dream is showing up like it's showing up sometimes in that strange way, not so enjoyable? That is, it is because to help us or to help me to remember and
Well, you cannot say that as a law of nature, that it is like this, that whenever you face circumstances that are unfavorable, it's simply because it wants to show you, to wake you up and to help you to remember. But it's very good to have that attitude that we can use those unfavorable circumstances to, okay, no matter what, it's not as real as it appears, and in spite of that, I can connect. I can connect with what I am instead of being totally blown away by the situation. Of course, our inner self may sometimes create situations that that should be staring us in our face and say, hey, look where you're going again. Look what's going on. And sometimes we hear it and sometimes we don't. Sometimes we see it, sometimes we don't. But you cannot say that whenever there are unfavorable situations, that somehow your being has created that in order to wake you up. But it's good, no matter whether the circumstances are favorable or not favorable, whenever we remember, just connect and relax in that as good as we can.
okay.
And the dream becomes less scary. Like in a night dream, as long as we are fully in the dream, it's very real. And sometimes the dream can be scary, then it becomes a nightmare. But then one can wake up in the dream and become aware, hey, it's a dream. And then even if the story still goes on and is scary, you stop being scared because you are aware, hey, it's just a dream. I cannot really be hurt. It's just a momentary experience. Then the dream becomes a lucid dream. And this dream similar experience, our waking, long drawn out dream, we can become lucid in that dream, become aware, okay, no matter what is happening, actually, I'm just playing along in that dream, but I'm prior to that dream. It cannot really hurt. And then, even if it's scary, scary stories, scary circumstances, then you need not be scared by it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari
Yeah.
Om. Is there anybody else who would like to say something? You're welcome. Come in. That analog of the dream is also just a way of talking about the mystery of experiencing this life. It's not exactly the same as a dream in the sleep in the night, but it is not as different as people are imagining. Then when we wake up from a night dream, we think, oh, it was not real, it was just a dream. Now I'm back, I'm awake, I'm back in the real world. But then when we were dreaming and totally identified with the dream, then it appeared also very real. Then an experience there appeared as real as an experience appears in this waking state. And being aware that this is happening with our dream experience, although while experiencing, we may take it for the reality, the real world. Then we wake up and say, oh, it was just a dream. It happened just moments to. I may have dreamt the whole story, but it was just a short time and it's disappeared, and here I am. And it was not real, but it was real as an experience. And so our life experience appears in the same manner to be very real from moment to moment. And the world that we are facing appears to be very real from moment to moment. And yet, if you come back to yourself, you become aware, oh, it wasn't real. It was a dream-like experience. Real as an experience, but momentary. When it hurts, it hurts. That experience is real. When there is a joyous peak, there is a joyous peak. And the experience is real as an experience. But then we think the whole setup around it is the real world, is reality. But it's also just a momentary experience, a momentary appearance there. If we become aware of the not solidity, not that reality of this world, it becomes much easier to let go of the attachment, to turn the attention back to the essence, to live and play in the world, to play the role, to be active in the world at the same time being aware. And prior to that, I'm not really in the world. This is just a play that I'm playing for some time. This is just a dream that I'm dreaming for some time. There is a dream matrix that so many different spirits can join together and create a similar experience. It's never exactly the same. The reality that one experiences is different from the reality another one experiences, but it has many common points that they can communicate and talk about reality, even if they talk quite about different things. They think they can understand each other. But it is not as real as it appears. It's not as solid as it appears. It's a momentary experience. If you are aware of that, then it's losing its scary nature. It's losing also its attraction to be obsessed by it. Doesn't mean everybody has to become an ascetic and sit somewhere in the Himalayas in a cave. We just have to make that little effort again and again, reminding ourselves, connect with that which is prior to all this. Then this becomes more play. And easier to deal with it. So I'm asking you once again, is there anyone who would like to say something?
I have another question. Just
Anita, yes.
yeah, I have another question just out of curiosity because I heard sometimes this that one should or should, I don't know, try to become aware in the dream, like in the night's dream or so, that you're dreaming, this lucid dreaming or so. And why? And is there like, would that be, I don't know, would that be a good thing to try to?
Some people are doing that, putting a lot of effort in it to consciously develop that capacity to do lucid dreaming. The Tibetan yogis, they have a whole line of teachings like that they become dream practitioners. Then they can dream and they continue their practice in their dream. Now you ask me, is it a good thing to do? Should we do so? We should not necessarily do so. No. I think we have already enough of a job in our waking dream. Now, if somebody feels attracted to that and wants to develop it, then one can go about it, find means to develop that capacity to become easier aware in the dream. But I would at the same time add a note of caution. Okay, if that happens, if you become more capable of doing lucid dreams, having lucid dreams, then at the same time, it's also a responsibility that you learn to use your consciousness beneficially for yourself and for the others around. That added time of conscious experience in that dream, that you can also use it to become more conscious. That also in that dream, in that lucid dream, that you also turn the attention back to that which makes the experience possible, because otherwise we may get so fascinated and get totally lost in a fascinating whole range of possibilities. And instead of being then helped by developing that capacity, that it may just become more of an obstacle.
Mhm.
So it
Yeah.
depends how aware one is and how one is doing it.
Yeah, that would have been my second question, if it's possible then, while lucid dreaming, to become aware of, of being
Yes,
aware.
yes, it's possible.
And the third question is then, would that help me to become more often aware during the daydream, to become aware?
Yes, it would help.
So then it's a good thing to.
It's a good thing to do, right? You can also use that energy to be more focused in your waking state. But if you feel like investing that energy and that effort in trying to develop that capacity to lucid dream, then you can do so. Just remind yourself that you use it for a useful purpose and not get lost in new possibilities. Then it can help you in the waking state to be clearer, to be more conscious. If you can do that also easier in the dream state. If you have the resonance, if you have a tendency to do so, then by all means you can do so. But if you simply think that would be a good thing, but your heart is not telling you, yes, let's go for it, then I don't think there will be much fruitful, helpful stuff coming out of it.
Okay, thank you. I don't think I'm so I don't feel like to invest in this.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you can playfully, just by the way,
yes.
see whether something develops without really getting into it and trying to develop. Like the Tibetan yogis who want to develop, they spend a lot of their waking time also to develop that. I think one of their main practices is that they just look at one object a lot of the time, concentrated in their waking state. And then after that, go to sleep with the intent that they want to find that same object in their dream. And then when they see that object in the dream, it helps them to wake up and say, ah, it's a dream. But it is, you can then invest a lot of energy to develop that. Or you just can go playfully to sleep and think, oh, okay, I'm opening up to get lucid in the dream. Then that's okay.
Okay, as long as I don't wake up then in the middle of the night because of that.
Yeah, right.
Okay, thank you for this explanation.
All right. Hario. Hario. Basically, it doesn't matter what we are using. Whatever helps us to become more alert, more conscious. And with that increased alertness, with that increased consciousness, helps us to let go of the tensions that we are unnecessarily creating. Then anything that helps us in that direction is useful. And even the most praised and traditional practices, as I have many times said, they are just tools. They are a crutch for the mind. Because if we have something to focus on, it's easier to detach from all the other things than to simply abstractly let go that attachment. If we can redirect the attention to some basic practice, and that helps us to become alert, aware in the present, then that practice is helpful. And we can basically develop anything that we like ourselves. If it helps us to do that, then that is useful. If it leads us more into dreams and complications, then maybe it's not so useful. All right, my friends, let's stop the satsang with this for today. I wish you all well. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.